Carson Daly. Weekday mornings on LA's 97.1 AMP Radio.
Our next guest has written #1 hits for artists like Madonna, Rihanna, and Beyonce.
She's a Grammy-nominated artist and one of the most creative forces in music today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
The amazing
Sia! Sia!
And Sia joins us live. It's Carson Daly at 9:10 on AMP Radio. Producer Angie's here. Good morning, young lady.
Good morning.
Hey, Sia, I'm good. Let me ask you something. When you were at Coachella on Sunday night and you opened up with Alive and you were staring out at everybody there in Coachella, did you feel like that set, I know you're first in a long time, a full set, did you feel like it was going to be as special as it was?
I was really excited, and I wasn't sure. I didn't know how it would be received. It had been like, when they asked me if I wanted to do Coachella, I said, can you just give me I took 2 weeks to decide because I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I want it to be really special. And I want to do something really special. Like, I don't want to just go and do the same things that I used to do. I want to do something really special. So I had worked very, very hard. We did, so I thought, and then I was like, oh, I have an idea. And so I called my directing partner and was like, I have this idea. Can you help me do it? And we worked really hard to make that to make it work. And so I knew that at least I'd done everything in my power. I'd made something that I thought was special, that I'd never seen before. I had had a singing lesson before the show.
Singing lesson?
Yeah.
I was wondering why you open up with Alive. That's such a vocal, I mean, all your songs are vocally challenging, but that song in particular to come out of the gate with is crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy. There's 4 songs in the set that I'm like, why did I write this?
Every time a kid on The Voice comes out in the blind audition and attempts Chandelier, I look at Christina and Blake and Adam. We're all like, oh no, why did they pick
can't be
this?
good.
Right? It's so hard. I can't even sing it. Those kids on your show are like better at it than I am. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I had to lower it like 2 semitones because it's just impossible to sing live. And so I did everything in my power to do a good show, right? And I was like, okay, well, I've done everything I can to try and hit the high notes. Now it's in God's hands. And I was like, and I've done a lot of hard work trying to make this movie that goes hand in hand with the live performance. And
that set, Sia, was something that we'll remember for a long time to come. And unfortunately, it wasn't there in the crowd, but whoever shot it, like, thank God for Coachella or your people, it's available online. I mean, Time Magazine, if you read this morning, put out a whole thing about that set. There was so much going. Oh, it was incredible. And so we urge people to go. I mean, go watch it. Angie and I both watched it yesterday.
The whole thing
I mean,
yesterday.
the dancing.
The dancers are amazing. Maddie Ziegler, who does all your videos and does your live performance with you, she's so good. It might seem like a ridiculous question, but is all that choreographed, or does she just feel it and change it every night?
Oh, isn't that beautiful? It is choreographed by an incredible choreographer called Ryan Heffington. And he's basically like our third partner. I usually come up with the idea, with a broad idea. And then Daniel comes in and then helps finesse it. And then, and Ryan choreographs it all. And he often comes up with amazing ideas as well. It really is a true collaboration. I believe that, without him, there really is no show.
It's
He's
crazy.
Really a magical choreographer.
It's hard to believe all the face contortions and the grabbing and all that
stuff. You can't take your eyes off of it.
You cannot. It's so captivating, and it works with the music. Like your music. Oh, by the way, do you feel like you're the most underrated person in music? I'm not kidding.
That's so nice. Well, no, I mean, that's not my experience of the world, because I feel very lucky, because I'm doing pretty good. And I wasn't doing that great, 6 years ago. I was like, a sort of sad alcoholic, pill-popping, like, stay-at-home Real Housewives, 3 months without leaving the house, order everything in, kind of sad, like, indie singer, songwriter. So for me right now is like, I feel like I'm doing so well.
It's so
I'm
funny
so
because
happy, and Go on.
You've been, not to interrupt, but I just want to, at that point, that's when I met you through The Voice, because you started in 2010 as you're starting to get out of that depression. You start writing with Christina. You do like the burlesque stuff. You start on her record. You start writing, then you were actually on The Voice season 1 as her advisor.
Gosh.
And then it seems like
I wish someone had told me to brush my hair.
And we were so happy to have you. But like, you've been in music for 20 years, and it's only been this last 5-6 years. Really, since that point, answer me this, are you mad at David Guetta because you wrote Titanium for Alicia Keys, right? And then he takes the song, unbeknownst to you, without your approval. He keeps the original demo vocals, which are your own. It becomes a huge global success. This is right when you are trying to not be a pop star and start writing for everybody.
Yeah.
Are you mad at him?
No, not anymore. You can't be mad at someone who's bought you a house.
That's true.
That's true. Good point. That is a good point.
That is a good point. Excellent point.
You cannot stay mad at something. I was mad for like a week because I was just like, hey, this isn't really my thing, and I wrote that for someone else, and I don't, and a lot of times I write songs that I would never personally sing because it's not my genre, or it's just I don't connect with that. But it was the best thing to ever happen to my songwriting career. It was like having a hit with him, I guess made me more credible as a songwriter. So people came to me as a songwriter, and that is my main source of income.
I love this
writing
album.
Pop songs for other people.
This Is Acting came out in January, and songs that you were supposed to, you wrote for Beyonce and Adele and Rihanna, Katy Perry, whoever else. Tell me about, I know you got to go to, you're making the rounds here, but tell me quickly about Cheap Thrills. Was that originally for Rihanna, or?
Yeah, I wrote it and I was like, oh, this would be fun for Rihanna. But then I was thinking maybe it's too Brit-poppy. It felt a little tiny bit too Brit. But I sent it over and they passed on it and I wasn't surprised. But I couldn't stop listening to it, and I felt a little bit like, oh, you're listening to your own music. That's pretty sad. But I was listening to it a lot in the car, and I was like,
I like this song I wrote.
I'm going to keep this.
Yeah.
Keep this sucker for myself.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, maybe I'm not going to send it out to anyone else.
It's so amazing to me that the greatest voice in music really wanted to get out of that and just pen songs for other people. But we wouldn't, your fans, they just wouldn't allow that to happen because there's something that is so, when you emote, there's such a Civil War cry behind it all. Marry that with the work that you've done with the interpretive dance, and you have a very, very powerful stage performance. Coachella is a good example of that. I can't believe it had been 5-6 years since you had done a 13-song set. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. That's why I needed that singing teacher beforehand. Like, wow, I have not sung 3 songs in a row for more than 6 years.
That is crazy.
He sounded amazing the whole way through.
Crazy.
So will you tour now on the
much.
heels of this? Like, how has this, where you're at right now? I know Sunday night you're going to do a show at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
This is a reason to buy a ticket to Coachella alone, to go to the 9 o'clock show. And it's not a knock on Calvin Harris, who's supposed to be the closer, but seeing the Sia show, watch the crowd this Sunday. It will be amazing. Where do you go as far as next week?
Well, I think, I'm really thinking about whether or not I want to tour this. It was I spent all my own money making this movie that I'm sort of projecting whilst I'm performing. And so it would be probably smart for me to go on tour and recoup some of those costs. But it is hard because
just put on the wig, stand there for 90 minutes, and get your check.
Yeah, it does feel like it's simple, but it is like pretty stressful because we all just want to be liked, right? And we're like, performers are like, please like me. That's all we're doing. All performers, entertainers, are saying, please like me. Please like me.
Well, we do.
And,
We do.
Oh, that's so nice. And so it's like we're all kind of looking for validation in probably the wrong places. But, it is stressful. And so going on tour and being sort of away from home, and now obviously I can do it a little bit more fancy than I used to. Used to be in a bus with a lot of people, and maybe now I could have my own with my husband and my dogs, and maybe sometimes we could even fly in a plane, and it's a bit fancier now. So it's like there's definitely an argument for going on tour, and also I know that the fans want to see it.
Yeah, they do.
It's just, yeah, I know that, and I want to give them what they want. Yeah. I have to be a bit careful because of my history of addiction and stuff.
Sure, of course.
Just trying to keep everything sort of like routine and ritual. It's
Yeah,
really
but you can do
helpful
that
for
now.
me.
You have the resources. You're in
It's
such a
good.
better
There's
place.
meetings everywhere.
Yeah, and you can. But you know, you'll do it on your own time, and your fans will appreciate whatever decision you make. Or maybe it'll be a short tour. You could come up with some sort of thing where you pop out,
Yeah.
limited
I wanna
city.
do it.
You should.
I do.
I'll call you when I get off
do
the air and we'll
it.
work it out.
Yeah, Carson should be your manager.
I'll be your tour manager.
He's got
I'm
it all
gonna
set
map
for
this
you.
out to make this possible. I know you gotta go. I don't want to be the DJ that keeps you.
Oh no! You know what? I told them that we could have an extra 10 minutes.
I love you.
because
I love you. All right.
Nice.
I love you.
Yeah, so no sweat, mate.
I love it, mate.
What else you got?
Why?
Anything else?
Yes. Where do you want to begin? Who moves you as much as you move us?
Well, I mean, I think probably in the current pop world, like Adele's "Someone Like You" is really my sort of like, well, it's the song I wish I'd written, you know, and it's the song that gives me feelings when I hear it, and I think probably I really love that, and I love "Hello" as well, and of course I love that not only just for Adele, but because it was co-written by my very good friend and often producer of my albums and my co-writer of like 13 years, Greg Kirsten, and so that makes me feel a little bit of home there too. But yeah, I think she's probably my favorite voice. I really loved Amy Winehouse.
Me too.
I'm
Did you
very
watch that
sad she
documentary?
died. I did watch that.
That was
very,
tragic.
very sad.
What was that like for you to watch it?
Incredible documentary.
You're somebody that could certainly relate to a lot of those demons. What was going through your mind as you watched that?
I was very sad because I had like texted her a bunch before she died, like just saying, you know, I want to be of service to you, and like, how can I help? And you know, I'd sort of shared with her my sobriety, and she was too far gone, and so that makes me. Oh look, I want to cry. That makes me sad.
Me too.
You know that. I think, you know, it really was her destiny. There was no one could save her, you know.
Thank God you.
But it's really.
What do you attribute your big turnaround to? I mean, that could have been your story.
Yeah, I mean, it really just. I think.
Was it faith? Was it
happened
friends,
with-
support? What was it in 2010? I know you wrote a note. I mean, you were in a bad place.
Yeah.
What got you out of it?
I think, you know, with alcoholism or addiction in any form, eventually, whether it's a gambling or other people or whatever the addiction is too, I think what happens is that nobody can save you. Nobody can fix you. I think that there's no way anyone can do it for you. You have to hit bottom. And in my case, I hit bottom and I wanted to die, but there was this little tiny voice that must have wanted to live, because I called somebody and said, I think I have a problem. And so I really believe that it's such a sort of intense disease, I guess, of the mind, or like a spiritual malady, they call it, you know. And it really has to be your own. You have to hit bottom, and only then is it like, I think there's this small voice that wants to live. And if that small voice is like willing to be vulnerable and like ask for help, then there's a better life out there for you.
It's funny how those cliches really are the thing.
Yeah.
Like
You have to want help.
It's almost
Right.
like admitting you have the problem is the first step in getting
Right.
better. It sounds like a bumper sticker, but it's the lifesaver.
True, yeah.
It really is, and it's crazy because it's like a beautiful life. You can have a beautiful life. And I just thought I was going to spend my whole life feeling like I didn't belong, like an alien. Like, how do people do this? How are you happy? I have no idea. I have no idea how to do it. I just felt like a total alien. I felt like a real fraud. Like, at some point, people will see that I'm unhappy or that I want to die, really. Every day I wanted to die, really, until I got sober. And then I was like, wow, I actually want to live. This is crazy.
Right.
Like, it's a very interesting, I didn't realize, you know, I just had no idea that life could be awesome.
Well, yeah.
I just didn't have the tools. I didn't have the tools. And I think it's very exciting to have come out the other side.
I'm so
I feel
glad
like
you
everyone
did.
in the world
I'm
should
so
do this
happy
step.
for you.
No matter what, like even if they're just fully healthy and normal,
Yeah.
they should.
How do you like married life?
Oh, I love it. It's really funny. Well, because my husband's a huge funny dork, so it's mostly laughter.
That's good.
There's a lot of laughter. Very
You need that.
interesting, very funny.
You sound so happy.
I know. I love
it's
hearing you
so
sound
great to
so
hear that,
happy,
yeah.
laughing, and.
It is good. Life is good, dude.
Do you get one more? I'm like I was watching at Coachella.
Yeah.
When you're wearing the thing and you're standing on the platform that's not very big, you just stand there for like 90 minutes. Do you get dizzy ever?
Right. Or like claustrophobic.
like-
Oh my gosh.
with the wig.
Yeah, I did like a private show at the South by Southwest Festival, like I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something. And literally, it was the first time I'd sung it was 8 or 9 songs in a row, and I thought I was going to pass out because I'm wearing that silly wig on my head. Right?
I know,
the
and you're not
silly wig
moving.
Comes all the way to my lips. And it's if you know that all the heat comes out of the top of your head, right?
Sure, so you're
when
holding
You'll be
it in.
sweaty
and a bow
head.
on top of it.
The hair sticking to your
And then
eyes.
a bow on top of it. Oh my gosh! I was like, I had sweat dripping down my legs to my ankle.
Oh my God.
I had like a pool of sweat inside my
Have you ever thought about just pulling it off in the middle of the show? Is that even a thought?
Oh yeah, I thought about it. But,
I think we're hearing the last days of the wig thing for Sia. You're going to be touring on a G4 soon, and there'll be no more wigs.
No wigs. No more sweating.
It'll be a whole new thing.
yeah, it is pretty hot under there, I gotta say. But I can't. You know what? It's interesting. I can't see anything, and now I've started working with these little in-ears, so I can't really hear. Like, I've got to pull one out if I want to hear the crowd.
Yeah.
And I do want to pull one of the in-ears out this time because apparently they were singing along the whole time.
Oh, the whole
and I
time.
didn't
The
hear.
whole time.
Yeah, and I want to hear that because that makes me feel like we're a team.
And you are right
And I
on
like that.
pitch.
Yeah.
Boy, you are incredible. Your voice is the best in
thanks.
music. It is the best.
Geez, thank you. Oh, that's so
It
nice.
is. It just is. I mean, you happen to just be awesome also, but I'd say it any other way too because it's just true. You're the most
Thank you.
underrated person. We were thinking like Ed Sheeran for a long time before he really hit the US pop scene. I mean, he was so incredible. Like a lot of the critical mass here in the States just didn't know yet. Now they know. And I just still feel like
Agree.
for you, it's like there's still so much more for you to achieve here musically. I'm so glad that you're in a good place and you're
thank
doing it.
you.
We love you. When you're in LA,
Thank
come back to
you.
Amp Radio and just know that
Thank
we're so
you.
proud of you. And have fun again on Sunday. Take out an in-ear
Thank you, sweetie.
and then take your finger and move it aside and get one of your eyeballs out there and peek at the Coachella crowd.
Yeah, create a little slit in there.
Yeah. Give it a little haircut right in front so you can peek.
Just right there on the eye.
Sia, thank you. We love you. And
Thank you.
we're going to play Cheap Thrills on the other side of the commercial break in its entirety for your fans here. And thanks for your time this morning on Amp Radio. All the best. And
Thank you.
We'll see you at
Thank you.
Coachella.
Lots of love, you guys.
There's the
Bye,
great
sweetie.
Sia, everybody, 928 on Amp Radio.
Carson Daly.
For more, go to ampradio.com.